Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts. Thank you for all the many things that you have blessed us with, and thank you for allowing our loved ones to be here with us to celebrate this exciting time in our lives. Thank you for allowing us to get to celebrate this day together as a class. Thank you for the parents, teachers, family, community members, and friends that have helped us get to where we are today. I pray that you would guide and direct us as we start this new chapter in our lives. Please help us to always remember to lean on you in our times of trouble. As we go out into the world, please help us accomplish our goals and dreams, and always remember to shoot for the stars. Thank you also for this amazing class of 2015. It's in your name we pray. Amen.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance to the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible.
Will the audience please remain standing for the national anthem?
We ask that you not come down on the floor during the ceremony. The photographer will take pictures of each graduate, and the school will give those pictures to every graduate. We ask that the audience refrain from excessive noise during the presentation of the diploma so that everyone can hear each graduate's name being called. If you have crying babies, we ask that you move to the commons area and where you can enjoy a live video of the graduation ceremony. These seniors have received numerous scholarships, many of which were donated by local businesses and friends in Muleshoe. We owe a huge debt of gratitude to the entire community of Muleshoe that contributed money to fund these scholarships. We have several businesses and families that fund scholarships every year for our seniors. In addition to these scholarships, every one of our graduating seniors will receive a $500 scholarship for the Muleshoe Opportunity Scholarship Trust. The trust has been funded for 15 consecutive years by the generous donations from local businesses, citizens, friends, and alumni of Muleshoe Independent School District. Our community believes in these students, and our faculty and staff believe in these students. We believe we're building the future, and we want to make sure that every Muleshoe High School graduate has the opportunity to pursue an education beyond the high school level. We want our graduates to have an opportunity to make the most of their potential by making the most of their education. We congratulate you on this milestone in your educational career. We wish you the very best in the future. May God bless each one of you. It's my privilege to introduce the speaker tonight, chosen by this senior class, Dr. Carrie Moore. Dr. Moore graduated from Memphis, Texas High School in 1956. Graduated from West Texas State in Canyon in 1960 and began teaching in Muleshoe in 1960 at 22 years old. He got his master's degree not sure. He went to Texas Tech, Student of Austin, University of Denver. He's just a learned man, very smart man. He got his doctorate from LaSalle University. He taught 24 summers at WT to taught debate and theater. This is his 49th year at Muleshoe High School. He actually retired and spent 2001 to 2007 away from Muleshoe High School, and then came back in the fall of 2007 and has been here ever since. When he first began, he taught American history, he taught English, and then he taught speech and theater. His one-act play he has won 41 district championships. One-act play. He's won 13 regional one-act play championships. He's won 2 state championships in one-act play. He's won 31 speech and debate state championships and 39 district Speech Team Championships. He was named the Texas Speech Communication Association Teacher of the Year in 1987, the National Federation of High Schools District 6 National Teacher of the Year in 2009, won the Texas State Teachers Association Lifetime or Youth Award in 1997, Muleshoe ISD Teacher of the Year in 1992, and Region 17 Teacher of the Year in 1992. He was Muleshoe Rotary President in 1972, Vice President of Muleshoe Chamber of Commerce, Muleshoe Man of the Year, and the Muleshoe High School Auditorium is named after Dr. Kerry Moore. His first play ever was called Everybody Has One. It was a comedy. Everybody has a skeleton in the closet. It was brought back years later, 4th of July, to raise money for Paris. His first one-act play in competition was Song of Louisa in the Morning. It had 3 characters, Nami Taylor, Jerry Don Colton, and Mag-Ann Reynolds. When he retired the first time, his former students sent him to New York City. His classroom, where he's teaching today, has been on the same hallway since he started in 1960. We have renovated and built a new high school around his classroom. He's an icon in Muleshoe. He's known everywhere in the state. When I came to Muleshoe, when I got the job, I told somebody in Waco. I was in Waco and I said, I'm going to Muleshoe ISD and be the superintendent. And they said, that's where Kerry Moore teaches. My first year here, Dr. Moore took the one-act play and several speech members to state. And I was there walking down the hall with him one afternoon and was going to a speech contest, and coming toward us was a contingent of UIL officials. Very important people were in charge of the state contest coming toward us, intimidating. As they passed us, not a word was said by anyone. Then I heard this stately, professional lady who was leading the procession down the hall go, "Mmm." I was so embarrassed for him. I thought she was being so disrespectful, making goat sounds at him. I learned later that everyone who knows him and respects him makes those sounds toward him. They call him a goat. Goat stands for greatest of all time. Then I understood. The 2015 graduation speaker chosen by the senior class, Dr. Kerry Moore.
Beginning to remember some of those days and so on. This past weekend, this past Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I was in Austin State Meet. It's just amazing how many of the people that I've known for the last 30, 40, 50 years, and they come up to me and they go, oh, it's fun though that they all do this, but that's what it's all about. The ones that don't know me, they go, what in the world is going on? Oh. Now this high board of trustees, Dr. Sheets, Mr. White, Miss White, rather, Mr. Governor, parents, loved ones, and friends of the senior class of 2015. I want to thank the senior class for inviting me to be your speaker this year. I really appreciate it so much. It is an honor. Seniors, over the past many, many years that I've been teaching and living and so on, I have learned that there's some things that we all have to learn. First of all, we have to realize that knowledge is what we have when we get wisdom. And from wisdom, we get understanding, and from understanding comes patience. And it takes a long time, even for me, to get the patience. It's not something that's overnight. And this patience, and we look at it, the understanding, the wisdom, and the knowledge, all of these lead to a good and productive life for each and every one of us here tonight. Every one of you, I beg you to do your very best. Seek the very best. But when you make mistakes, and I guarantee you will make mistakes, stop and ask yourself, where can I find the positive out of the mistakes that I have made? Don't go the negative route. If you do, you will never improve on the mistakes that you have made. Look for the positive things, and these will encourage you to be a wiser person, make better decisions, and you'll feel better about yourself. Think through what you have done and what you can do better. Let's change the subject for just a moment. In William Shakespeare's play, As You Like It, Jacques tells us that men and women go through 7 ages. The first age, you seniors have already gone through. That's when you're infants. Now you are boys and girls. You're at school. So tonight we're going to finish the second stage of Jacques' speech. Now, when we're thinking about your lives as boys and girls, and we're thinking about what do I need to know at this time, I want us all to remember that everyone in this audience, and all of you, we have to gain education. We have to adapt to the technology of the age in which we're living. We have to keep up with the new changes in the world and the people we meet and associate with. If not, it's not going to be an easy world for you at all. We have to adjust to all the various jobs that we're going to have. Always seek. I need to look over to another page. I think this one may be just a little out of order, but I'm not going to worry with it. Everyone, when you're thinking about life itself, and we're going to come over and we're going to talk about life, and we're talking about from the idea that when you leave here, you have to think about many things in this life. First of all, you cannot think about me, because that is going to be the end of it, especially when you get out into another world, especially when you get married. You have to think about that when you get married, you are a parent. And everyone in here realizes that parents is something that is a new job for you. A job as a parent, a job that in the workplace, a job with your children and your wife. These are things you have to think about in life. It's not this idea that I come home from work and I just sit out in the chair, watch television, and that's it. You will be a parent. Take care of your kids. One of the things you have to remember, that the children are young and they're up to their 7th, 8th, 9th birthday. Don't forget to love them then. If they're 80 years old and you're 100, you still love them as if they were 5 months old. That's something that's important. You have to think about these things. This is where young people go away from the parents and go off in a different direction. Is the parents, and you will not pay attention to them. You have to. It is imperative. You've got to take care of them. And as dads, I want another thing to think about. Don't let mother do all the chauffeuring them around. Don't do that. You've got to do some chauffeuring and show them love. This is something that is so important. And I think that you have to think about that all the time. You think that at times that your children will not be listening to you, and your parents have thought the same thing. Well, they're not listening to me. Well, most of them probably are. But the others, When they're 25 years old, they're going to say, gosh, I wish I'd listened to Mom and Dad. I might have known how to solve this problem. So remember, if you sit down when the kids are young, and you start talking with them and visiting with them when they're young, and you don't let them go astray, and you let them know you're really interested in them, and you want to know what they are, I think it's important. I remember when I was a little, when my sister and I were growing up, one of the very important things that we could be out till 11, 12 o'clock at night, and as soon as we came home, we'd go straight to Mother and Daddy's bedroom, and we'd sit there on the bed for 30 minutes, maybe an hour, discussing everything that we had done and all the things that we had done during the day. And that was one of the greatest things I think that really happened that drew my mother and daddy and my sister and I so close together, is by going into that bedroom at night. And we were going to be late. I mean, we said we were going to be home at 11 o'clock, and something happened. We always phoned them, and we told them that we'd be late to where we were. Always. And never in my life, like this is the truth, my daddy never disciplined me or ever said anything cruel to me or my sister, because we were always right on this page with Mother and Daddy both. And I think that this is something that's very, very important. Remember, when you become a parent, you are a parent. That is one of your jobs. That's one of your responsibilities, whether it's at home or whether it's in the workplace. Next, we come to middle age. This is the time that maybe, if you haven't gotten married at a late age, you can look back and evaluate your accomplishments. You can look at your failures and the opportunities that may come your way, that have come your way. You can evaluate the success of your marriage, the success of your children. And all of this is based on what you and your wife have planned and the goals that you have set for your family, and you work together. Now, many of you in this class may never get married, and that's great. Nothing wrong with that. A single person can be very productive and very, very happy in life. I know some today that are in their 70s, 80s, 90s that are the happiest people I know. Wonderful people. Something else, seniors, that I think you need to think about. Very soon in life, you're going to have a job. Start looking for the future. Don't think about, well, this will happen when I'm 45 or 50 years old. No. Don't do that. Use some common everyday horse sense. Because when you retire at your age of growing up, you're now 17, 18 years old, you may have to work till you're 75 or 80 years old in order to be able to retire. Who knows what holds the future for you or any others in this audience tonight. But whatever you do, you have to plan for your future. Don't live the old days of being in sadness and failure. People are going to tell you over and over in this life that all you have to do is plan day by day. The people who tell you that are fools. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. You cannot plan just for tomorrow. You have to plan for your whole life. And I think that's something. You've got to look ahead. You think since the school's out today, that I don't have to do anything until next September, October, September, when school starts? Good grief, I would be the fool, wouldn't I? You have to be prepared when school starts next year. They're like the ag people in here. They work all summer long. They're like the people in band and choir and all these other people and looking at the football teams and so on. Not everything that have all these extracurricular activities. We have to plan all the time. We can't just decide, well, tomorrow, we'll just plan for tomorrow. No, that doesn't work. You've got to stay ahead. And seniors, whatever you do, whatever you consider, make sure it's wise. Plan it. You have an opportunity now to really have a good life. Finally, there's something else I want to tell you. Many of you here have had some great friendships in these past few years in school. Look at the friendships. And in the years to come, you're going to have new friendships. Today, with all the technology, you can keep those friendships alive. There's an old saying that when a person reaches an old age, that if that person has 5 strong and reliable friends, he is indeed wealthy. I beg each of you to be a friend for life. Seniors on your program, look at your model. Look at that model that you have, if you have when you look at your program, if you don't have it later on. And this is something, your memories. Put your memories together. Hold on to them. Hold on to your friendships. And seniors, I want to tell you that I love each one of you, and I wish you the very, very best in life. Man.
2015. I'd like to say what an honor it is to be your salutatorian. I'd also like to say thank you to all the parents, families, faculty, administrators, and friends for all your efforts that have helped us to get here today. I would like to give a special, well-deserved thanks to my mom, Eva Rainey, and my father, Cecil Chavez, for making me into the woman that I've become today. And then, a special shout out to my best friend in high school, the table. I know the journey hasn't always been easy for us, but the struggle is real. Let's have a little flashback Friday for a moment and talk about those old MySpace days. Remember MySpace? It was all about projecting an image and trying to find the most friends. Remember adding random people and spending hours designing their MySpace profile? As freshmen, we did the same thing. We worried about our appearance way too much and made friends with just about anyone who would talk to us. We learned a lot from MySpace here, and as sophomores, we were ready for a deeper experience, Facebook. We knew a little more about high school and understood what friendship really meant. We could like and unlike each other's actions, but got to be ourselves at the same time. It was about knowing and supporting one another for who we truly were. By junior year, we were really settled into our own shoes and understood ourselves. You know what that means, Twitter. Not only did we know who we were ready to express who we were. We shared our opinions on our experiences, whether we faked them or not. Now, senior year is a whole lot like Instagram. We try to capture and cherish every moment because we know they won't soon only be memories. In every moment, good or bad, strong or weak, we captured a picture that will forever be left in our memory. If I could double tap on this class of 2015, you better believe I would in a heartbeat. And now, as we, the graduated class of 2015, start a new journey into the real world, always remember to leave your hashtag behind. Thank you.
Before I begin, can everyone hear me? Good? Yeah, that's all right. Can you hear me now? There we go. Before I begin, I would like to thank and congratulate a number of people. First, I want to congratulate the class of 2015 on their achievement of graduation. Next, on behalf of the class of 2015, I would like to thank the parents and guardians for their love and support and for helping to mold us into the men and women we are today. To the fathers of these graduates, I congratulate you. You are now one step closer to having that man cave you've always wanted. Personally, I would like to thank my family for being such an impactful rock in my life. I would like to thank Mrs. Mason, Ms. Floyd, Louis Pacheco, Mr. Gully, and Dr. Moore for helping me to grow as a person and expand my talents and passions in ways I never thought possible. Thank you for all that you've done. Finally, I want to thank my friends, my speech teams, and my cast members for giving me the best memories of my life these last 4 years. I appreciate it. When I found out that I had to write this speech, the first question I asked myself was, how do you create a valedictorian speech? I've written speeches before, but the kind of speeches that I wrote previously were completely opposite of what I had to accomplish. Since I had no idea how to write such a speech, I asked one person who could help, Mr. Gold. When I asked the Goldator what my valedictorian speech should consist of, he told me that traditionally the valedictorian speech consisted of telling what the future holds and the great things that our graduates could accomplish. I knew, however, that I couldn't write such a speech, because truthfully, I can't tell you about the future.
The problem with speaking on the future is that it all depends on the decisions we make today. So I scrapped the future generation with me, and for a week I did nothing but think, how can I write a speech that will affect the decisions we make today, that will affect our future? As I thought, naturally I would get sidetracked and would catch myself reminiscing over things I had and had not done. And I would follow these rabbit trails to places of joy and bliss, but also to places of regret. However, it was out of these rabbit trail memories that I found what the speech should be. What I found was that I can't predict the future, and I can't make the decisions. But what I can do is give you all advice that might help y'all shape y'all's future. The first piece of advice I have is don't be afraid to get deep. If you're ever stuck on a writing assignment or schoolwork or work in general, I found that some of the most successful things that you can do is just to get up and not take it seriously at all. I remember working with Hamlet and on speeches. I'd be walking around Dr. Moore's room and thinking, how does Hamlet think? How do I need to deliver this speech to a judge? And I'd go on for an hour and an hour and an hour at a time and never get to where I wanted to be. And finally I just go and I do Hamlet in a Chinese accent. And then I do it in a French accent. And then I do it in a Dr. Moore accent. It was just a bunch of murder. But I would quickly found out that getting angry with the task got me nowhere, but being here did. I found out that by finding these new ways to approach the task ahead of me, I could find simple and much more effective ways. So, if you have a task in life, and you find yourself stuck on that task, remember, don't be afraid to get a little weak. My next piece of advice is probably the most important. Don't be afraid to aim high and to make time for the little things in life. Now let's talk about the first, aiming high. If you were to tell me last year that I would be a state qualifier in speech or singing in New York at Carnegie Hall, I would have thought that we were taking my first piece of advice a little too close apart. But this year, I did those things. The question is, how did I accomplish it? And that's simple. What happens is when you set that goal, you're giving yourself motivation, energy to accomplish the goal that you want to reach. Now, will it be easy? It won't. It's not supposed to be. No? But as you go closer and closer to your goal, that want-to factor grows stronger and stronger. And finally, when you reach that goal, you find not only a sense of joy and accomplishment has come from it, but also that you've grown and changed for the better, and that you're ready to set another goal and tackle it. That's what aiming high does for you. Unfortunately, sometimes that goal or goals gets too much attention, and then it starts to become almost an obsession. It's when you reach that point that you start to miss out on simpler but just as meaningful moments in life. I think this is where you can learn the most from me, in the regrets of not stopping and enjoying the simple activities in life. Some of those being dating more, hanging out with friends more. I even wish I had gone to more social gatherings than I had. But it's the simple, tiny things like these that didn't seem like they'd be significant before, but now they are. That's where I called to do my 4 years here at Muleshoe. So I stress to take time to enjoy the simpler things in life. Now I'm not going to leave you bummed out from that last piece of advice. I have one more. This final piece of advice I hold a bit closer to my heart. Growing up, when I rode to school with my mom, and even now when I'm in my car, I would listen to the Kid Craddock in the morning show. I loved every aspect of the show, whether it was Kelly Raspberry and Kid Craddock bickering over some comment Kid had made that Kelly Raspberry being cheap, even though she kind of was. Or Big Al Mac interrupting them with some completely random and off-topic fact. I admired these people, but it was how they ended the show that really captivated me the most. And still, every time I hear it, I feel like I can walk a little taller with this twinkle in my eye that I hope when you hear it, you'll feel the same. Each and every one, the cast of the Kid Craddock in the morning show would sign off and say, keep looking up, because that's where it all is. I'm just going to let this sink in because I don't want to over-explain it and ruin it. I just want you to feel the significance in it. So in conclusion, I would like to thank you all for allowing me to address you tonight. And I realize that not all of my advice may be useful to you specifically, but I do sincerely hope that a tiny bit of it helps you to keep moving forward and to keep looking up. Thank you.
President Preacher, as principal of Muleshoe High School, I certify that the students standing before you have completed all the state requirements for graduation. I declare the students in the class of 2015 eligible to receive their high school diploma. Seniors, you may now move your tassels.
President of the School Board of Trustees of Muleshoe Independent School District, I congratulate you, the class of 2015, on completing the requirements necessary for graduation. I ask you now to come forward and to receive the symbol of this achievement, your high school diploma.
Valedictorian, receiving the Texas Education Agency Honored Graduate Certificate. The Honored Graduate Certificate is presented to the highest ranking graduate in the senior class. This certificate authorizes the president of any state-supported college or university to provide a waiver for tuition as specified in the law. He will also receive full tuition and fees for Southlands College, the first grant scholarship in the amount of $500, and the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Wayne Allen Shipman. The 2015 Muleshoe High School Salutatorian, receiving full tuition and fees for Southlands College, the 5-year Telephone Cooperative Scholarship in the amount of $600, the Jenny Smithers Scholarship in the amount of $500, the Kuykendall Scholarship in the amount of $500, and the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500, Gabrielle Rainey Chavez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Isaac Acosta. In the amount of $500, Brian Larry Adams. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Andrea Isela Andrade. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Milagro Andrade. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Ruby Patricia Andrade. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Alexandra Priscilla Baca. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Andrea Mayon Rivera. Receiving the Muleshoe Rotary Club Scholarship in the amount of $750, the Floyd and Mary Burtis Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000, the Muleshoe ISD School Board Administration Scholarship in the amount of $500, and the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Brady Ty Desir. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Guadalupe Ezequiel Cadena. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Luis Miguel Campos. Receiving the Muleshoe Rotary Club Vocational Scholarship in the amount of $375 and the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Sofia Eva Carrasco. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Paul Xavier Castillo. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Mireya Castorena. Receiving the King's College Presidential Scholarship in the amount of $15,000. The Avila University Achievement Scholarship in the amount of $12,500. The University of North Texas Excellence Scholarship in the amount of $3,000. The University of North Texas Tuition Scholarship in the amount of $5,250. The Cleveland State Freshman Scholarship in the amount of $3,500. The Cleveland State Voyager Scholarship in the amount of $3,242. The Our Lady of the Lake Academic Scholarship in the amount of $11,000. The University of the Incarnate Word Distinguished Scholar Award in the amount of $10,000. The University of the Incarnate Word Incentive Scholarship in the amount of $2,000. The Christian Language Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $500. And the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Michelle Dominique Chavez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Wesley Craig Clarkson. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Paula Josefina Contreras Lopez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Adán Cruz. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Gaby Olivas Cruz. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Marco Antonio Daniel. Receiving the Texas Tech University Presidential Scholarship in the amount of $12,000, the Muleshoe Rotary Club Scholarship in the amount of $750, the Christian Language Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $500, the Baker County Electric Cooperative Scholarship in the amount of $1,000, the 5-Area Telephone Cooperative Scholarship in the amount of $600, and the most scholarship in the amount of $500 for Miranda Joy Bruin. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Noah Del Toro. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Bernadette Raquel Delgado. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Daniela Diaz. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Celia Elizalde. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Francisco Javier Elizalde. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Jacob Daniel Espinosa. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Jordan Ray Fitzgerald. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Roman Gabriel Franco. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Leslie Patricia Gamboa. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Ana Garcia Gomez. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Juan Jose Cantara. Receiving the Christian Landers Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $500, the Ray and Donald Bailey County Scholarship in the amount of $600, the First Bank Scholarship in the amount of $500, and the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Jaira Yanina Garbarilla Lascano. Receiving the Oklahoma Panhandle State University Football Scholarship in the amount of $1,800. The Oklahoma Panhandle State University Academic Scholarship in the amount of $300. The Panhandle Plains Scholarship in the amount of $200. The Oklahoma Panhandle State University North Scholarship in the amount of $900. And the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Keegan Shay Gonzalez. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Daisy Nicole Gonzalez. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Jasmine Denise Guerra. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Guadalupe Abigail Gutierrez. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Alfredo Guzman. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Linda Bristol Hernandez. Receiving the Capital Farm Credit Scholarship in the amount of $500 and the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Ashton Taylor Hunt. Receiving the post-9/11 GI Bill for full tuition and fees plus $1,000 per year for books and the housing allowance, and the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Clayton Gray Johnson. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Elvira Maria Lopez. Receiving the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Eshoa Asael Lopez. Receiving the Ag Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, the Motion Scholarship in the amount of $500, Christian Lopez Carrera. Receiving the Car Blue Scholarship in the amount of $1,500. The R.T. Madison Scholarship in the amount of $750. Muleshoe Rotary Club Scholarship in the amount of $750. And the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Adriana Loya. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Isaac Nathaniel Levanos. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Jesus Cruz Manzanares Canada. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Carlos Martinez. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Jorge Martinez. Receiving a 50% Bible tuition discount in the amount of $10,180. The Lubbock Christian University student grant in the amount of $2,500. The family member discount in the amount of $500. And the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Jose Andres Martinez. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Marisa Nicole Martinez. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Roxanne Mata. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Shelby J.N. McCamish. Receiving the Ag Booster Scholarship in the amount of $500. The Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Logan Anthony Livas. Receiving the Texas Tech University Recruitment Scholarship in the amount of $2,000. The Texas Tech University Pell Grant in the amount of $2,312. The Texas Tech University President Grant in the amount of $1,012. Texas Classroom Teachers Association Scholarship in the amount of $400. And the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Charisma Lorraine Mendoza. Receiving the West Texas A&M University Institutional Scholarship in the amount of $3,000. The Benny Donald Veteran Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. The West Texas A&M University School of Music Scholarship in the amount of $500. The Christian Language Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. The 5-year Telephone Cooperative Scholarship in the amount of $600. 2 UTEB Spurs Scholarships in the amount of $500 each. And the Muleshoe Rotary Club Scholarship in the amount of $750. The Elizabeth B. Lawson Scholarship in the amount of $500. Texas Public Education Grant in the amount of $2,000. The Muleshoe State Bank Scholarship in the amount of $2,000. The Texas Classroom Teachers Association Scholarship in the amount of $400. And the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Christian Jacob Mora. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Maria Elizabeth Munoz Torres. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Astrid Selena Nunez. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Janet Orozco. Receiving the Moses Scholarship in the amount of $500. Monica Cecilia Pacheco. Receiving the Hazelwood Legacy Act Scholarship covering tuition costs. The LPNL Impact Scholarship for $2,000. The Prison Scholarship for $2,000, and the most scholarship in the amount of $500, William Martin Pacheco. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Christian Ernest Paez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Angelina Marinita Perez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Bethany Brianne Rader. Receiving the Texas 4-H Opportunity Scholarship in the amount of $10,000. The R.C. and Agnes Johnson Scholarship in the amount of $2,000. The Christy and Lannis Memorial Scholarship in the amount of $500. The Five-Area Telephone Cooperative Scholarship in the amount of $600. The Bailey County Electric Cooperative Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. The Muleshoe Rotary Club Scholarship in the amount of $1,000. Texas County Agricultural Agents Association Scholarship in the amount of $1,500. And the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Preston. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Juanita Angelita Ramirez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Mitzi Guadalupe Ramirez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Chanel Adrian Regalado. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Sean Nathan Regino. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Christian Nicole Reyna. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Angela Rodriguez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, David Alonso Rodriguez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Ricardo Rodriguez Ruelano. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Guadalupe Rodriguez Mendoza. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Carla Janice Rosas. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Nathaniel Rosas. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Israel Alexander Rubio. Receiving the Gold Rush Scholarship in the amount of $100, the Pioneer Scholarship in the amount of $750, the Wayland Baptist Centennial Scholarship in the amount of $1,500, and the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Jordan Wayne Champion Russell. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Saul Sanchez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Lucero Cristina Sanchez Ramirez. Receiving the Eastern New Mexico University Football Scholarship in the amount of $4,000 per semester, and the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Dustin Ray Smith. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, John Preston Stiles. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Gerardo Guadalupe Torres. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Dallas Page Tosh. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Melody Angelica Tosh. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Lisette Adriana Merino. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Marcus Daniel Valle. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Samantha Vasquez. Receiving the most scholarship in the amount of $500, Ryder J. White.
As you begin the next phase of your journey through life, my prayer for you is to remember a few of the fundamental truths. The first of which my father taught me. The best way to serve God is to serve God's children. I cannot recommend service any higher. Serve your family, which is what you are doing today by graduating. Serve them by going to college or working hard, by being the person God wants you to be. Serve your family by being the protector and role model they deserve. Serve your community, serve your nation, give to the poor, and give to your church. The second thing I'd like to tell you guys is our school board and our superintendent have led our district into specific goals that we want for you. Remember that you are and will be, as Muleshoe ISD has taught you, a positive, ethical, and productive citizen and a lifelong learner. Lastly, I just want to remind you of what that pro football player, Manny Ramirez, told us. told us all, quote, respect everyone and give 100% to every single thing you do, and you will be successful. You're a great class and you inspire me. You give me hope for the future. Congratulations. At this time, it's a time of special recognition for two men that have led this district and this school since you guys were in pre-K. Please honor Dr. Gene Chief, Superintendent, and Mr. Thurman Myers, the outgoing board president, with a nice round of applause. I appreciate the family and friends being here today. At this time, will the graduates please stand? Ladies and gentlemen, may I present the Muleshoe High School class of 2015. Everyone please stand with the seniors for a school song.
Please move your hands, and I guess that's between. Dear Lord, thank you for bringing us together to commemorate the success and blessings we have received throughout this year. I thank you for bringing forth such a great group of individuals. Please protect us as we travel to Canyon tonight, even if it's raining. Most of all, please support us as we go forth to take on this world of uncertainty. Please secure us in our minds, and especially in our hearts. Amen.